But our Matloob knows all about that. But inshallah, is of our freelance journalist here on Drive Time, and mashallah, the details, some of the articles that he talks about are definitely ones that touch the community and are they need to be discussed as well, because inevitably there are many taboo subjects within our community that never get listened to, and that's what we want to talk about. We want to challenge, and some of the concepts that we want to challenge is this one that I've introduced for this week. And this week we're going to be talking about this on Drive Time all week. Really, we're starting things off slightly moving today from opinions from Facebook and stuff, and inshallah we'll be talking to various imams, mosque leaders, speaking to schools, head teachers, and seeking their opinion on whether it should be mandatory, and then also councillors, whether our local councillors, our politicians stand on this, our MPs, and also various other members of the community as well that it impacts on. And inevitably parents are the biggest ones, because they will have to allow this child to sit there, or they may not be allowing because it might be made compulsory. So what's your views on that? It's audible on for 2425 and for text 0788 5599786. All those that have entered the competition, the name has gone in. The competition line and text will stay open, and Matloob is joining us now with the paper review up until past. After past, inshallah, joining me in the studio will be Ibrahim Hussain, and we'll be talking about Sheffield to Palestine, the journey. And we're going to be talking about the various members of his group that went with him and what they found there, what was the security situation like. And it's also to encourage other people to visit as well, whether it's visitable or whether he would recommend it anybody else going. Let's speak to him at 5:30 and see where he stands once he's come back from there. Joining me now then is Matloob Hussain Ali Khan, freelance journalist as well, and he is here in the studio. Over to you, Matloob. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, Matloob Sahab. How's things?
I'm fine. Everything's a lot of news, a lot of interesting news.
Mashallah. Matloob, I'm going to ask you on this, on our question first, if I may, before you touch into the papers, and that is regarding sex education, or whether it should be compulsory in schools. Now, I know quite a few years back, did this on Drive Time as well, on Shafaka Show, you commented on it, and various other things you've commented on. Where do you stand on this? Do you think kids should be made to study this in full detail, all the social aspects to it and everything?
I think in the light of the sexual exploitation issues over the last very, very recent times, I think I'm in both ways. There is a very, very young, it's not applicable, but to children who are grown up, to be honest, the ones who grow up a lot early, especially girls, especially the ones who they mature a lot earlier, and I think they should be, but obviously boys as well. So I think, but there needs to be a very clear, there's reasons behind what. There's a lot of people talking about different agendas.
Okay.
I think in the long run it's okay, but from many Muslim parents it would be very, very difficult in terms of how it's going to encourage them to get involved in relationships at that early age, in terms of friendships, etc. The usual things, or boyfriends, girlfriends, and all those sort of things come into it. But having relationship, understanding how the body works, that it's good on a sort of biological, educational level. But there is obviously dangers. Yes, there is a few dangers in that. But overall, it's a good idea. But there is limitations.
There needs to be limitations. Just one text before we come to you, Matloob, then with the paper review, if you want to get ready on that. I think sex education should be taught in secondary schools in year 7. However, safeguarding issues around what's appropriate, touching, etc., should be taught at a younger age. The two issues are completely different and should be taught as such. That should be on Facebook. If anybody else is on Facebook, my page, or alternatively wants to become part of the show, 0755999786, and our studio hotline number, which is audible 142425 Matloob, paper review.
Yes, we're going to the Guardian. As you can see the picture, I thought you might just get a peek of it. The battle for Mosul is a picture of it, but obviously it's not the big story, but it says epidemic of sexual sex harassment in universities. That's a big story in the Guardian, and as you can see the picture of his door ISIS controlled area of Mosul. things are closing in on the ISIL. So it might be in the next few months you might see a change of it might be back control to the Iraqi army, most likely. Hopefully something's going to be resolved. Hopefully we're hoping for good news in terms of this ISIS and ISIS's rule over that area, swaths of that region, be back into people, and maybe things will be positive rather than negative. What's been going on? It's very, very complicated. Yeah, that's the actual story though. The main story is epidemic sex harassment in universities, or misconduct and gender violence by university staff at epidemic level. The UK, a Guardian report has found out at least 169 such institutions, so that's a lot of things happening there. We haven't got time to go into details. I'll just go straight to the other stories. The other story is looking at the like I said, most of which I've covered. Chancellor to build reserve for Brexit risks. Now this is interesting. I think they're trying to make the £36 billion ready in case they have to give to, if the Brexit, because that's the money the European Union wants. 36 billion, so they're trying to make reserves for it. That's interesting. That's a really sort of crucial bit of information. Let's see how they're going to find it. The budget's coming up, so it's going to be interesting to look out for that news. And very, very. So these are some of the very, very key things that are going to happen in the next few months of the Brexit. Whatever. Well, obviously the
18 months worth of negotiations that are now to take place.
Let's see what's going to happen. So that's the story. The Chancellor has indicated that he's saying that Wednesday's budget, that the tax revenue will be used to build up a reserve to deal with uncertainties arising from Brexit, rather than increase spending on the NHS. The Chancellor has indicated some extra money for the risks. And we go straight to the Independent, Nasar, and we go straight to the big headline though. There's a picture of as you can see, I don't think you can make out, there's a picture of our Lord Mayor from London with another famous singer, her name, I think you might know of it, Annie Lennox.
Oh, yes.
Eurythmics. Yeah. She's gone on a demonstration, and the headline runs on top of that picture. Thanks, Mr. Trump. Annie Lennox says he's helpful to the women's movement. So that is an interesting.
That's a very interesting remark.
Yeah, interesting.
Some would beg to differ on that opinion.
Yeah, that's it. It's a very crucial one, because think about it. If he hadn't said things he'd said in 2005 on his locker room talk about doing certain things with the women's whatever it is, this is, and I think the Lord Mayor of London, Mr. Sadiq Khan, is stood there with the women's demonstration. A similar demonstration have taken place in Washington as well. So this is very, very Mr. Trump's in a lot of criticism, but I think there are a lot of people.
He's talking about President Trump. He's bought that ban back as well, isn't he?
Yeah, that ban's on. But there's another interesting things about some developing stories around what's happening with Russia and his take on blaming that his wiretap his phone was tapped during the Obamas.
By Obama.
Yeah. I know there's some revealing news about the guy who said to him once on Twitter, I know I'm digressing, a guy in 2013, apparently I come across it on this morning, a guy said to him, and everybody's blaming him, saying, look, if you didn't open your mouth saying that you should stand for president, you wouldn't be able to got him in the White House, because he said to him, laughingly, jokingly, why don't you stand for president? This was when he was going on Twitter in 2013, and 3 years later, November come and he's elected, so that guy on the internet is under a lot of pressure, say, look, it's all your fault because you shouldn't have suggested you should become president to Trump. So it's true, that's a true story, and it's on Twitter.
Money and power, the money and the title, that's kind of somewhat responsible for getting him there, because if he was some ordinary person, he wouldn't have had a chance in hell, wouldn't it? Do you think his business then, if an ordinary person was shouting off some of the things that they've done, they would have been stopped long time ago, called him insane? But the money and the position and the power that he has in his own businesses, seemed to have dictated how he got to the top, didn't it? In certain respects of it.
But I think the problem is, I mean, this is an interesting thing because we're going to go into a topic. To be honest, it's a serious one. It's serious, and I'm not making this it's an interesting fact. It's serious stuff around mental illness.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Trump has been, what the word is, certified by a lot of psychologists and mental health, saying that he is gone. Now, the interesting, this is, I don't want to use the word interesting again, but it's revealing that the article in the Independent headline is mental health patients forced to travel hundreds of miles for treatment. That's in the UK, by the way.
Right.
It could happen anywhere, but this is a really very reality of what's happening in the NHS at the moment, because the NHS is virtually being destroyed. Sorry to say, Mr. What's his name? The the name of there was a quote of the. Is it Jeremy?
Jeremy Hunt.
Jeremy Hunt, and there's other names people use for him. There's a name, but I'll not say that on the air when he was here. But anyway, this is a serious situation where, with the NHS being slowly dismantled, with all these, there was a demonstration in London, I think, over the weekend as well, wasn't there?
Yeah,
yes, there was. And her services for more serious ill patients in crisis, experts have warned that with the increasing numbers of hundreds of miles away from the home. Now, that's reality, because even in Sheffield, I'm not sure what some of the places that have been cut back. There's a lot of cutbacks in different parts of the UK, and especially where you've got people with very severe debility, mental illness, like early intervention schemes, etc. Some of the specialist places, they close them down, so they have to go miles away. So somebody with a mental illness, or let's say somebody, for example, being ill, or one is that if you're being mentally ill, sometimes you can't drive.
Right,
even though if you're a driver, you have a mental illness, or you have a depression. On the tablets you can't drive, that, and a lot of things. So they have to go by transport. So there's a lot of problems for people like that, and they end up traveling hundreds of miles to get that specialist treatment. So there's a big issue for people with mental illness, and especially with the health service, the way it's going. So that's the other thing. Going back to this Guardian, although I just skipped ahead about that march. Well, we're still on the march, actually. This Mr. Trump and Annie Lennox. The interesting thing was, and who else was on that march? If you heard of Emil Pankhurst, the suffragettes' main person who was behind the suffrage movement in the UK, well, Dr. Helen Pankhurst, the great-granddaughter of the suffragette Emmeline Pankhurst, is said having someone like Trump in power is a major problem. Right. Not just the man himself, but also the people who voted for him, therefore the wider social attitude. So there's a problem at the moment in society, especially in terms of the way they see women. Especially as sexual objects, etc. And not only that, people need to, and this polarization has more boots on the ground. We talk about more boots on the ground as the army, but we're talking more boots on the ground, people demonstrating and protesting, guess what, against who? Donald Trump. His election. So there's been a lot of activity, and that in a way in that it's backfired. So that's an interesting development there. So that's something which is we need to look out for, and let's see what's going to happen in future. So the other story in the Independent, have we got time? Because I'm just conscious of the time. Yeah, the other one was Trump's wiretapping claims are distraction. This is still in the Independent. Now, Donald Trump's wiretapping claims are a distraction. That's his story. The real story is that when Donald Trump made a remarkable statesman-like first speech to both houses of Congress, he made a brilliant speech, and everybody was impressed. Yeah. They were really impressed. And then they found out, some commentators argued it showed his critics were wrong, and he could be more pragmatic, mainstream, and effective president than they had imagined. There were even hopes that he's attempted to bring together a divided nation might herald a less confrontational, because there's been a lot of confrontational issues since he's been elected, to be honest. You've seen it with the demonstration across America. A lot with the president that's been elected. There's not been that much backlash, has there?
Yeah,
since he-
they're very supportive of them to start off with.
Yeah.
It's only when they decide to do U-turns on their policies where they get the backlash from the public. But this person has had backlash from minute one of entering from his first inauguration.
And also the
now.
Independent goes on to say that the Twitter is trying to run his government by what he says on Twitter, sadly, and it's the middle of in the middle of the night as well, sending messages. So that's people. So alas, this story runs. Alas, such hopes were premature. Mr. Trump, who suggested he would stop picking. They said he would stop picking trivial fights, has now started a huge one. With his explosive claim that his predecessor Barack Obama authorized the tapping of his election campaign, and actions that is similar to what he said happened when Mr. Nixon was around. The Watergate scandal that destroyed President Richard Nixon, even accusing Obama of a witch hunt like McCarthyism. I'll quote you this now. McCarthyism. The irony is, guess what? Trump's early attorney Roy Cohen was Joseph McCarthy's wise counsel during his investigation into communist activity in the U.S. So, as listeners on Iman FM might not know, Senator McCarthy in the 1950s got this Red Scare without proper evidence. He made allegations against people in America, were saying that they were 205 red members, members of the Communist Party, working in the U.S. State Department. These are the allegations he made. It was like a witch hunt, and that's when President Truman was in power in the 50s. So it's interesting that he's saying a quotation of McCarthyism. Come on, it's a bit laughable. What he was, so I don't think politically he doesn't think through things, and I think he's just on the
possible downside to any person, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's the story on there. We're going on to the Daily Telegraph quickly. We look. I'm conscious of the time. The headline is the fat cats of pay NHS bosses. Although you've got a picture of guess who. Susan Reid has Good Morning Britain, one of the presenters, and it's a routine few wooden voice. She's going to work in her pyjamas at 3:45 a.m. in the morning, having a slanging match, with guess who? Piers Morgan, who's the other presenter.
Piers Morgan.
Yeah. So she takes it in her stride. That's the story runs. But the fat cat bosses story is more than 600 NHS Quango chiefs are now on six-figure salaries with a doubling number earning more than the Prime Minister.
Wow.
So Miss Theresa May, the people earning more than her, so that's why the reason she wants to smash the NHS service. No, I don't know, I'm just joking. But it's interesting that it's I'll be honest, I've been to the hospital in Northern General. And the amount of money they're making with parking fees, I'll tell you, atrocious. You know how much the parking? How much?
How much is charging out for parking at the moment?
Right?
In fact, I was there with my dad.
£2.50 an hour.
Yeah.
£2.50 an hour. Come on. And I've been driving up the Harry's Road. Have you seen that long queue of cars that have parked up because they can't afford it? Workers, staff, etc. On there, they can't afford it. And somebody was asking me, a friend of mine who doesn't live in the city, he said, why is all these car parked? I said, by the way, because these rip-off agents within the NHS, some of these, they're making millions. What they're doing with that money, okay, they might put it back in the health service, but the health service shouldn't be stripped to bare bone anyway. That money, what they should make, it should be put back into public for them to make it easier for them to park. Come on, you're making millions out. There's no accountability. And they've got hospitals in Sheffield. I'll be honest, I don't think they should have even moved the maternity. All right, they had a top whack maternity unit in but the side of the city. You can't bad parking in the other side of the south of the city. It was a bit easier to park in Northern General, the north side, but down if you're parking at Jessop's for the maternity side, come on, can you find parking in the
It's mission impossible at this moment in time.
Yeah, there's Jessop's Hospital, you've got the Children's Hospital, you've got the Hallamshire, there's a lot of issues and it's all to do with money and no thinking through. It's like, it's only closer to our home. Some of the GPs, practitioners, consultants live not side of the city, southwest of the city, so it's better for them, isn't it?
Better for them.
And I think it's a north and south divide if you look at it at the end of the day. So anyway, We move on. That's my sort of little gripe at the NHS. Some of the fat cats. Anyway, the story on Obama faces Congress write-up inquiry. I've already talked about that. So we're going straight to the Daily Mirror. The Daily Mirror story. I've got this one about the really interesting, very serious stuff. Have you heard of Africa? You must have had emails. When you email, most people do now WhatsApp, but email, you used to get a lot of these fake letters from Africa.
Oh yes, the fake emails. Bring me over, and you sound like a very nice person, and
it's interesting. This is not very serious, and it's very dangerous, and people have committed suicide. Apparently this one, Mirror investigation. By the way, there's a picture of Mr. Putin, Vladimir Putin, about his background. I'll talk a little bit because I pick up someone I said on Thursday. I just want to pick up on that. I forgot the time. And there's a picture of Nick Seringer, one of the Disdin's singers, gone on a date, but she was hardly wearing very, very revealing, tight-fitting clothes. And where's well be, where's you know what the situation is there. Very revealing clothes, so it doesn't make much for the imagination. So there's a picture of just her face at the moment. Anyway, so the Putin's on top of the picture, a young picture of Mr. Putin is about 11 or something like that. But the Mirror investigation, cybersec gangs blackmail 3 bits and now this is a very serious situation. Africa is always in the news for that. But this is sextortion. It's called sextortion, meaning that cyber sex gang blackmail 30 Brits a day. Victims lured into webcam schemes by conmen using fake profiles of women. Now this used to happen in Pakistan and India. Remember, used to get these fake. It's happening in Africa. It sounds like what some profiles tactically deployed by Pakistan. Some people I've come across said they were, it's a joke, but foreign sextortion gangs from Africa. And this time, some British victims of African gangs have committed suicide. Police are saying it is a tip of the iceberg. Ivory Coast is one of the African states that's very, very prevalent. And they take your Skype details, and somebody committed suicide because they were demanding £800 from this person, and it's a very serious situation. So
right, okay, Matlub, it's time for the ad breaks here at
we'll
FM.
We'll come on the other side of for the tabloids. Carry on with them, inshallah.
We may not have time for that, but inshallah, see if Ibrahim doesn't come in. If Ibrahim comes in later, inshallah, we can continue. So let's go to the ad breaks now, and then inshallah we'll see whether it does settles. If anybody wants to enter the competition, you can do so as well. The competition question was nice and simple. It was, where is Mirprit Tawa opening? Is it opening in 3 options I gave you? And the option 1 was Wicker, second option was London Road, and third was Attercliffe Road. For those of you on Facebook as well, Layer Live, it's open to you guys as well. You can enter your answer there. It'll be taken off and we will announce the winner at about 7:45 on Taxi Time Show as well.
सामीन अजीबकार अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैं राजा खुशनूद खान पेश करता हूं प्रोग्राम मसला क्या है हर जुमारात शाम 6 बजे से 8 बजे तक जिसमें ज़ेर बहस आएंगे आइली मिली समाजी दीनी सकाफती कौमी और बैनुल-अक़वामी अमूर
Khan Solicitors, experienced criminal defence lawyers in defending your rights. We can assist you get the best possible outcome if you're involved in any criminal matters, including murder, drug offences, sexual offences including grooming, terrorism, fraud and money laundering. We can provide free advice and assistance 24/7 at the police station. Call us on 0114 258 3399 at 351 Abbeydale Road, Sheffield. Visit us at khansolicitors.com. Over 20 years experience in defending your rights.
क्या आप बच्चों की शादी के सिलसिले में परेशान हैं? क्या आप बर्तानिया में ही बच्चों की शादी करना चाहते हैं? क्या आप एक अच्छे रिश्ते की तलाश में हैं? अगर इन सवालों का जवाब हाँ में है, तो आपका मसला हल हो गया। बर्तानिया में रिहाइश पजीर आला तालीम याफ्ता किसी भी बरादरी के अच्छे रिश्तों के लिए आप राब्ता मैरिज हेल्पलाइन से इस टेलीफोन नंबर पर राब्ता कायम करें 01142425 400। राब्ता मैरिज हेल्पलाइन मुसलमान खानदानों को करीब लाने का राब्ता।
Coversure Insurance Rotherham are your friendly local brokers who can insure all your needs, whether it is for your own car, home or property you let. We also have specialist insurers for your shop, restaurants and takeaways. We can cover all aspects of the motor trade and we have some excellent rates for taxis, minibuses and commercial vehicles, including fleet policies. All written quotes can be beaten. Please call us today on 01709 556 230. We are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday.
Sheffield's finest buffet restaurant, Mirpuri Dera, reviving the taste of Asian subcontinent. Extensive buffet with more than 40 dishes.
नई इंतजामिया, नया साफ सुथरा माहौल, मुनफरिद खाने, 40 से ज़ायद डिशेस, पार्टी ऑर्गेनाइजर, मशरकी रवायात का लंबरदार, हलाल फूड.
Mirpuri Dera, Stanifeth Road, Darnell, 0114 244 9199 under new management.
जेड़ा भी पाए एक बारी फेरा, वो आवे बार-बार मीरपुरी डेरा.
अस्सलामु अलैकुम. हम आपके शुक्रगुजार हैं कि आपने अल हबीब वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन के साथ भरपूर तावन किया. आपके ज़कात, सदक़ात, फिदिया और सदक़ातुल फ़ितर बगैर किसी कमी के हम इंतहाई गरीब पसमानदा इलाकों के यतीमों, बेवाओं, माज़ूरों और ज़रूरतमंदों तक पहुँचाते हैं. अल्लाह ताला आपके तावन को कबूलियत का आला दर्जा अता फरमाए.
For more information, please contact Maulana Aslam Zaid on 0789 454 0303 alhabibwelfarefoundation.co.uk.
In a world where accident claims are poorly managed and the referral fees paid are so low, and just when all hope is lost in the city of Sheffield, a hero emerges. A hero so powerful, one phone number is all you need. A hero named Mr. Compensator. For your referral fee of £2,000, call Mr. Compensator now on 0114 3863 386. Terms and conditions apply.
Iman FM. This is Iman FM. You are listening Iman FM 103.1 FM.
That's right, you're listening to Iman FM 103.1 FM and you're listening to the Drive Time Show with me, Nasar Raoof, on Iman FM. And we've got a question that is open to you guys as well. And that question is, where is Mirpuri Tawa opening? Is it opening on Wicker? Is it opening on London Road? Or is it opening on Attercliffe Road? What is the answer? And our next guest, as promised then, is going to be talking to us about Sheffield to Palestine. What was the journey? What was the visit? And how was it like? What was it like? And what are the personalities? What are the thoughts? What are the feelings behind it? There's a call that's joining us as well. Let's take that call. Assalamu alaikum, you're live on Iman FM. Assalamu alaikum, you're live on Iman FM.
Hey, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Mirpuri Tawa will be open in London Road, fellow.
Mirpuri Tawa will be opening on London Road.
Yes.
Okay, what's your name, brother?
Saghir Hussain.
Fazil Hussain.
Saghir Hussain. S-A-G-H-I-R.
Saghir Hussain. Okay, are you from Sheffield?
Sheffield.
Saghir Hussain, we will be announcing the result at 7:45 on Taxi Time Show. Please stay tuned, and if not, you don't catch that on its own, it's going to be on our Facebook page, which is Iman TV Online as well. Jazakallah khair, my brother. Jazakallah, thank you very much. And that is Saghir Hussain. Anybody else that wants to enter as well, all your names will go into the hat and will be drawn out by our lucky presenters on the Taxi Time Show. I've got loads of entries here as well, and inshallah they will all be put into the hat as well. So, as part of my next discussion on Iman FM's Drive Time Show then is regarding the congregation of friends, family members and various members of the community that took themselves out to Palestine. And lots of people wondering out there, they must be really scared out there. What must the security, are they allowed in? Are they allowed near Masjid al-Aqsa? Do they get to go inside? And where's that bridge? Where's certain things? So to answer all them questions, because I couldn't answer them because I've never been to Palestine. I have a dream of going to Palestine, and I want to hear from this individual about how his journey was. And he's going to be now joining us in the studio for our discussion. And inshallah, it'll be on Facebook Live as well for those people that are watching. It's on Iman TV Online, and it's also on my page as well. Let's give him a very warm welcome then, and he joins me here in the studio, and it's Ibrah Hussain, former councillor on Sheffield City Council and also active member of GMB as well, the secretary I believe for Sheffield. Assalamu alaikum to you, Ibrah.
Wa alaikum assalam, Nasar. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
And to your listeners?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Good. Welcome back to the United Kingdom.
Oh, thank you, sir. Welcome home, I think you'd say.
Welcome back there, absolutely. How was your journey?
Alhamdulillah, 6 days trip. 6 days. We were 40, I think we were about 46 people in a group.
Right.
Went from Birmingham, there was a group from Luton, Manchester.
Right.
And we all grouped up together.
Fantastic.
And you have to go through to Tel Aviv. I'll go through the phases.
Go through one by one for us. From which airport do you fly from?
Well, we went from Luton. So we were from UK, I think that's the main thing. For me, there's no problem. Then we went to Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv, sure.
Yeah. Tel Aviv, nice airport, no problem. But the intensive scrutiny is between 5 to 7 hours. They ask you from your name, your dad's name, your granddad's name, their date of birth. Then they look at through your phone, through your Facebook, through your Twitter, through your emails. They take it off you, and then they put, if it's low charge, they put in a charge, and they ask, why are you here and what's your purpose? Any connection with Palestine, any funding with Palestine? Because when they went on my Facebook, they found certain connections.
Okay.
Labour Party, GMB and other organisations. They asked me what they were all. I told them all. And the one question they asked me, why are we questioning you? I said, only you know, I don't, because you are asking me questions. They asked me questions about 40 minutes, 45, and after that I went, because there were so many people before me as well, and once you leave there, after that we left. It's a 5-hour flight, and then 5 hours there, up to 7. Because if you're in a group, you have to wait for your other colleagues as well.
Right, okay.
So from there, you drive to East Jerusalem. There's East Jerusalem and there's West Jerusalem. And as you drive through, about an hour, you will see two differences. One, West Jerusalem, affluent, posh, totally 99.9% Jewish community living there.
Right.
And as you drive down to East Jerusalem towards Masjid al-Aqsa, you can see deprivation. You can see a real change and difference in the lifestyle of the people. And then we got to our hotel, a nice hotel, and about 5-10 minutes walk away from Masjid al-Aqsa.
Right.
So that is the drive. There is always a checkpoint on the way, and they can come and check, or they'll ask the group leader, because we are part of the group. If you weren't part of the group, they'll search you fully.
Okay.
Masjid al-Aqsa is in like a fortress, a wall around it.
Right.
It's 31 acres, I've been told. 31 acres, yeah. 31 acres land. There are so many entrances to it. I don't know, there's 7, I think, or 8 entrances to it. They all have got security. Heavy 2 to 4 people, 4 people minimum. 2 with machine guns all the time. And if you carry your badge, you're okay. If you don't carry your badge, then they'll stop. They'll have a register. They'll have everything there. And there's also the soldiers outside as well. So as soon as you walk through, there are so many steps. And you'd go into the garden, the big yard.
Okay.
And then you see the Masjid al-Aqsa dome.
The famous
dome comes in front of you.
Right, okay.
It's a beautiful sight.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's where the rock is. It's known for that, and that's where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as part of the Barak, landed there in a sense. And then inside, there's the steps inside where you can go, and there's a stone and what happened, there's a history to that inside. But then after that, there's a masjid. It's called Masjid Qibliya.
Sure.
Yeah, beautiful big mosque, very square, and that's where you read your main prayers. Well, you can't read prayers here, but you want to always read your prayers
in that masjid.
In the main masjid as well. And on this side is our Muslims, and on the other side, at the west, the other side of it, is the Jewish community who are praying against the wall, facing the mosque.
Okay.
You understand? So that's their holy site, and this side is a Muslim holy site.
So is it like split into two? Can you see the division?
No,
it's not.
No, there's a big front of the mosque. There's a big wall.
Gotcha. Right.
Big wall, and in front of the big wall, you can't see. It's part of the mosque. Qibla, you're facing Qibla, and there's a solid, big, thick wall, maybe 8 foot wide width or 10 foot, maybe even more.
Sure.
Yep. And other side is the Jewish community. The Jews come there and they pray there for their own religious needs. And on this side is all Muslims, and then there's a gate to the right. And then there's a place where the Prophet Muhammad put his horse, tied his horse up.
Yes.
There's all that barak, they call, But that's limited time. You can't go any time.
Right.
Yeah. There's a limited time. They open and close. They have the key. And from there, there's the stairs that lead into the market. And then there's a massive history. There's a massive history to that, which I can't even remember so much. That of the Prophet, many prophets came and lived and stayed and traveled and Sultan Ayyubi and all that, who were the warriors, the fighters, and the Christian community who's lived there, and there are markets there. Then, as I said, the Jewish community goes for their religious prayer on the other side, and they have a security gate. So you see the whole, that in the whole 124,000 Nabis have been in that land, in that one mosque. I think 500,000 to 1 million people can fit in that mosque, they say. So big, so
right.
big. So on every step there has been a prophet been through there. So it's a wonderful sight, to be honest. Inside the mosque, there's history inside it. Women are separate, slightly inside, and the men are separate. All people from all denominations, from England, mainly Pakistani community, Muslims, India, Turkish, Indonesia, people from New Zealand, Canada, South Africa are there. But the problem, local community cannot go there.
The local community.
The local. If you live in West Jerusalem, West Bank,
yes,
you have to be 55 and over to get a permission to come to Masjid Al-Aqsa.
Right.
And then by 5 o'clock you have to leave the site. Yes, you cannot come. Anybody under 55 visa will be refused. You have to leave by 5 p.m. If you don't, you'll be locked up. And the sentence, we passed one prison. There are 20,000 people there.
20,000.
Open prison. So it was an open prison as far as I could see, only walls, there were no buildings. But they said it's 20,000 people in there.
20,000.
Yeah, and they say one little thing we make mistake is 5, 7, 10, 14 years. They said they don't say 6 months suspended or 2 months suspended, no. It's for years. So it affects people's lives,
Talk about some of the experiences you've shared with us for the journey. You've talked about the various masjids and stuff, and the Masjid al-Qibliya that you've been in. Is that where you carry out most of your namazes? Then do you pray all your namazes inside that mosque, or do you pray all the areas of the grounds as well?
99.9% I prayed all my namaz in the Masjid Qibliya, and few in the dome.
The dome.
I'd say Masjid al-Dome, yeah. Otherwise, all in Masjid Qibliya.
Is that the main mosque then?
Yeah, that's the main mosque. When I went out on the ziyarats,
yes,
then we read namazas there. We went for a whole day, but we tried getting back for Maghrib and Isha.
Okay.
Otherwise, read Fajr, and then we left for about 10, 10:15, and all the ziyarats. And there's so many ziyarats. I think we missed so many as well because there are so many, and also we weren't allowed to go to Ramallah, security. We weren't allowed to go any further other places because of this intense security, and there's much more political issues there. And it's not best not to go. But there are many other ziyarats which we couldn't go to.
How did you find the security arrangements while you were inside that country? You went into quite some detail at the airport and some of the checks that they were doing there. So do you notice other people were getting the same checks, or was it because...
Well, I met a Canadian from Toronto. He was a Christian, and he was asked almost the same questions. And when I was walking with him in the mosque, we just had a little walk and a chat. So he said, I said, what did they ask you? And he told me exactly what they asked him. And he said, because I'm a Christian and they don't want me here.
Sure.
Yeah. There's a problem. It's, the reason I think they do it is they don't want you to come, make your life difficult and make you upset. Why should I go through all this bother?
Right. Okay.
So they're so intensive in that sense to say, hell to this, I'm going. And that's why. I think that's why it's done, and that was consistently said to me. Other than that, I was never stopped by a police officer or any other security because we went in a group. When I went, I wore my group's badge in my neck, and I always had my passport with me. And
you have to carry them identified documents without it?
No, they say if you don't, then why? You could create a problem for yourself.
Right, okay.
Yeah, they'll ask you even entering mosque, where are you from? You say England, okay. Muslim, yes, okay.
Right.
They will ask you that. They will ask you that. Once the regular ones get to know you, they know your regular face.
Right, okay.
They know your group symbol.
Right.
Yeah, so they know. That's okay. Otherwise, no, they're very clear.
A question for you then. Question from Arshad Mahmood. He says, question for Ibrahim saying, what was the most moving experience in your trip? A lot of religious sites that you went visiting. What was the most moving moment for you?
I think when this was a question asked to me on the way back, is when you enter the Masjid al-Aqsa, not the whole fortress, but when you enter the inside the area of the mosque, the garden, the whole garden.
Okay.
And then when you go in, because there's so many, they love steps. I don't know, for some reason they love big steps. And you see the dome that hits you, that catches you. It brings you you want to go. And these are the two things I remember. It's like you can have a lovely picnic there and have just sit and watch, and as a family enjoy, and that's what people do. But as you get closer and closer, because I've seen all my life, much like the photos or portraits of it, but then you see the real thing. Right. There's a massive difference.
Doctor, a lot of people also wonder when they're going on these trips and they think, well, hold on a second, the food might not be right. There's obviously, the food may be very different. What was your eating experience? What was the food like at a place like that as well? Because inevitably you've got to eat, so let's not deny, for those people that are raising the eyebrows out there, I can kind of picture you guys thinking, well, why is he talking about food? But because obviously food, what kind of food is out there and what kind of culture do then people out there enjoy?
Food, very simple, Arab food, normal. I always call it bland, but very healthy. Our hotel provided breakfast and evening meal, so there wasn't a problem. Food is easily available, everything is available, but very, very expensive. If you buy a bottle of water here, big bottle, or is it 1.5 litre or 2 litre, whatever.
About 2 litre bottle.
2 litres, £3.
£3?
£3.
Oof.
English money, 15 shekel they call them. Of their local money. It was £3 anyway. Rate was about 5 to 1.
Right.
1 English pound 5. Then it went to 4.53.
Right.
And before Brexit it was 6. They tell me.
Brexit has hit there as well.
6 then 5, and now 4.53 and 56, something like that.
Right. Okay. So,
but very expensive. Very expensive.
What about general shopping wise? The other things that are around there?
No. Nothing else. No. Nothing.
Just going to stop you for 1 minute and just go to our phone lines. Assalamu alaikum, you're live on Iman FM.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I want to enter the Iman FM competition today.
Gee, what's your name?
Alia Hanif.
Alia Hanif.
Yeah.
Alia Hanif, what is the answer?
London Road.
London Road.
Yeah.
Are you sure, Alia?
Yeah.
Okay, Alia, thank you very much. Listen to the show about 7:45, Taxi Time Show, and it'll be announced then, okay?
Okay, thank you, Hudafiz.
Thank you, Hudafiz. Thank you very much. That's Alia Hanif. Your name, if the answer is right, it'll be entered into a hat. I'm keeping all the pages stored, as you can see on Facebook Live. Don't worry, I'm keeping them all. And it will be put up. Ibras, I want to talk about this.
Can I just show you this? And for your listeners, this picture here. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes. Door handle. So a handle in a wall.
This is from the Barak when the Prophet ﷺ came and tied the horse here inside the masjid. Not inside the masjid, but in the grounds. To the right hand side, you go downstairs, and this is where you see. I've seen that.
Right.
Yeah, and it's open limited time. No, not access all the time to that. There's a limited time period access to that. And these are some of the things you will see in there as well. So much history to there as well. And wherever you go, religious history to it between the Muslims, the Christians, and the Jewish community.
Right.
Yeah. And the site overall and everything there is extraordinary.
What about the population? What about other people? How many? Is there quite a lot of still Muslim population going out there?
I went to an area called in the West Bank, Helenu.
Sure.
The gentleman said that 26 years ago I went to Masjid Al-Aqsa.
26 years ago?
And he only lives half an hour away.
Half an hour away, okay.
He said, I need permission, like a visa. Then I have to leave there at 5 o'clock. So just imagine. They can't go there. One message I ask your listeners, and I want to give your listeners, everyone I spoke to, they said, please come. We want you to come. Just once. Don't spend money, just come. That's the message from Palestine. Okay. Just come for us, they said. Just come for Ummah. Just come for 3 days. 2 days. But come. Keep this going. Keep this going. Otherwise, there will be no masjid left. Nothing will be left. Because the local people, 1 or 2 saf.
Right.
Because then there's no local people there. They can't come. If half a mile, if half an hour drive can't get there, they have so many difficulties. What do you expect? I asked one person sat next to me in Masjid, I said, so you live in a free land? Alhamdulillah, there's no problem here. And I will remember this. He says, yes, but we're occupied. He said, we're occupied, my son.
Right.
That, and I said, what a statement to make. He says, we are occupied. He said, all my kids have gone out, the supporters, people from outside supporters. There's so much deprivation.
What about the education? Are these people communicating with you in English or
Yeah, you can. I think they're broken English. Mobile phones are everywhere. Everywhere. The new generation of Palestinians, mobile phone, short side haircuts and all that.
Achha.
Oh yeah, all that's changed. There's a gap between the young and old, I can see. Clean areas.
Right.
Yeah. Shops close after Isha.
What about clothes shopping and stuff like that? Is that really expensive still as well?
Everything's expensive. Everything is expensive and is deliberate. Everything is deliberate.
Why do you say it's deliberate?
Sad to say, I think we live in an area. If I look at apartheid,
okay,
if I look at this, it's a clear segregation. You can see it straight through. Or there's no if or but to it.
Right.
It's a clear segregation, separation, and the people there, you can tell everything through their eyes and the body language. They will never smile at you. They were the Israeli people or the soldiers. They're very young, because they have the they have the national service, they will not smile at you, however much you smile.
Right. Okay.
Oh yes, they will not smile.
So
for some reason, they will not smile.
So you didn't manage to achieve a smile from a soldier out there?
I think we were all were saying we will be very lucky if we got a smile.
Sure. Let's go to our phone lines. Let's use joiners. Assalamu alaikum, you're live on Iman FM. Assalamu alaikum, you're live on Iman FM.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam. How are you? You okay?
Yeah. Can I enter the competition, please?
What's your name?
Ismail Tariq.
Ismail Tariq.
Yeah.
Ismail Tariq, what's the answer?
London Road.
London Road. Jazakallah Ismail. We'll be announcing it 7:45 or on Iman TV online Facebook page.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ismail. Jazakallah, Allah Hafiz. And that is Ismail. And thank you very much, Ismail, and all those people who have joined in the competition. Lines are now closed. And just finally, I'm going to give a minute to Ibrahim. That advice that gentleman give to you in regards to keep things okay, keep coming. Is that the advice you're going to echo to local people that are saying, would you recommend this journey to other people from your own experiences, from security, arriving at Tel Aviv to leaving and coming back to Luton Airport? What was your advice?
My message is to everyone: once in your lifetime, at least visit Masjid Al-Aqsa soon as you can. And my message from there, when I came back, I said I'll ask people. At least they said, just all of you, just bring one person. It wasn't the group person I said to me. It was the people from there who said, everyone brings one person. That's the message. It's for them, and they have so many families who are deprived. Olive trees are taken out and cut and done and everything. So I say to your listeners, if they want to go, if they want any further information, contact me. Directly contact Iman FM and they can give me your number, inbox me your Facebook or Twitter or my mobile numbers you all have. I will request, just for their sake, just go to Palestine and make sure that our mark is on there, and it will be a life experience. There's nothing to worry about. Airport, it's done deliberately. They'll give you a visa. Once you get the visa, you're through. You're there in about an hour. And thereafter there's very, very secure, safe life there.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for joining us on the Diet Time and sharing your experience from Sheffield to Palestine. Then Jazakallah khair to everybody that's contributed, especially all the kids that have taken part in the tournament and the competition, and the grown-ups as well. And inshallah that will be announced 7:45 in the Taxi Time show as well, which is going to be taking place in a short while. Hamid Rahman and Ibrahim Hussain will join you on that. Big shout out to Matloob for joining us on the paper press review as well, and has sat patiently and listened to this as well. Jazakallah khair everybody else, and it's Allah Hafiz from me today. Inshallah, topics tomorrow that's going to be discussed is this theme